Ahead of the July 16, 2022 governorship election in Osun State, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) is alleging intimidation and harassment of its leaders and supporters by operatives of the regional security outfit Amotekun. Addressing newsmen in Osogbo, the chairman of the PDP State Legal Committee, Niyi Owolade, said PDP members are being brutally attacked by political thugs masquerading as personnel of Amotekun Corps and called for their arrest and prosecution. Owolade also called for immediate investigation of the activities of Amotekun Corps to determine its scope of operation.
Immediate arrest of the notorious APC thugs led by Ashiria and Eniba for the purpose of investigating their criminal activities and bringing them to justice. Immediate withdrawal of the police SPU, that is the special security detail attached to the said notorious thug called Ashiria Eniba.
Owolade said the PDP is ready for the election and confident of the victory of its candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, and called for a free and fair conduct of the poll devoid of intimidation and harassment under whatever guise. The party also warned against the speculated appointment of the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale, as the returning officer of the July 16 governorship election.
As much as we have confidence that adherence to the spirit and letters of the Electoral Act will guarantee free and fair election, we reject the appointment of Professor Adebowale as state returning officer for the July 16 election on account of partisanship. We therefore call on the national chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to urgently withdraw the appointment of Professor Adebowale and appoint a new neutral returning officer for Osun State poll.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation says all issues that led to the stoppage of construction work on the standard gauge lines expected to link different terminals at the Lagos seaport will soon be resolved. Speaking during an inspection visit to the ongoing rail construction at the Apapa port, the Minister of State for Transportation, Gbemisola Saraki, said top officials of the ministry are meeting with relevant stakeholders to resolve all issues that necessitated the stoppage of work.
According to the Minister of State for Transportation, as soon as the pending issues are adequately and amicably addressed, the tracks will be completed before the end of July this year.
Even though they're doing a diversionary track, the most important thing is to have the standard gauge on it. So this is why we're here, to look at it myself and ensure that at the time we sit down with customs, we get it resolved. Here to witness that by the end of this month, which is another 2 weeks maximum, that this track will be operational whilst we try and solve this other issue. Even though the bill
commenting on the customs facility, including the scanner which is on the rail track, thereby stalling work on the project, the minister hinted that officials of the Transportation Ministry will also meet with relevant stakeholders in the coming days for its safe removal and pave way for continuation of construction work.
With that, the building has, as you can see, they've already built it to that end. It's just this one in the middle. It's been agreed that the building is going to be moved, it's going to be demolished. Okay. It's just minor issues of having because of the fact there's some radioactive, because it's a scanner. We just have to ensure that number one, it's done safely and it's done by the right people to come and dismantle and decommission the scanners to ensure that it's safe, and then the building itself comes down.
Also on the inspection tour with the Minister of State were the Chairman House Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, Linda Impeazu. They were taken round by the Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Fide Tokaira, the Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashir Jamo, and a representative of the Nigerian Ports Authority.
In many countries with traditional societies across the world, women are often subjected to abuse, discrimination, poverty, and other forms of social degradation whenever they lose their spouse to the cold hands of death. As part of efforts to change this long-standing narrative, the Ministry of Women Affairs has called on Nigerians to join hands and lend their voice against the violation of the human rights of widows following the death of their spouses. Speaking at an interactive session with journalists in Abuja ahead of this year's International Widows' Day, celebrated annually on June 23rd, the Minister of Women's Affairs, Dame Pauline Talent, said the ministry has put systems in place to provide for the welfare of widows in the country as part of celebrations to mark the event. She was represented by the acting permanent secretary in the ministry, Idris Mohammed.
The following activities, among others, have been mapped out at the national level. One of such activities is engagement with mass media to create awareness and sensitize the public and media on the importance of International Widows' Day, coming up on Tuesday, 23rd June 2022, taking place at Dutse Alaji Community in Buhari Area Council here in Abuja. 2, awareness creation on the plight of widows generally. And 3, empowerment of over 150 widows with palliatives. On this note, I urge all stakeholders present to continue to collaborate with my ministry to ensure that gender equality is achieved in Nigeria, especially in the area of creating synergy, mobilizing resources, and establishing workable partnership towards overcoming the challenges confronting women, girls, including widows in the country.
Other stakeholders at the event also stressed the need to develop resources and create empowerment for widows and their children to enable them live a comfortable life.
Being a woman with disability is way out of this world. Then the woman with disability and the widow, it becomes triple tragedy. They are naturally not visible. Thank God for this theme of today, this year's Widow's Day. Women with disabilities are confronted with a lot of challenges, ranging from structural barriers, which hampers their participation from daily activities.
So on behalf of the NGOs and the partners here, our goodwill message is that we are going to continue to support, collaborate, and strengthen the hand of Federal Ministry of Women Affairs to change the invisible widow to now be the visible widow by policymakers.
Suspected terrorists have attacked a motorcade of intending pilgrims from Isa local government in Sokoto State, allegedly leaving 3 police personnel dead in the process. The pilgrims were on their way to the state capital to be airlifted to the Holy Land for this year's Hajj before they were ambushed. Sources in the area said the assailants laid in wait for the vehicles conveying the intending pilgrims from Isa to Sultan Abubakar III International Airport with the intention of kidnapping them, but were repelled by the team of the security personnel accompanying the intending pilgrims. The sources confirmed the terrorists had allowed the first vehicle carrying the security personnel to go on ahead before opening fire on them. The security personnel were said to have engaged the gunmen in a gun duel for several hours, thereby stopping them from abducting any of the intending pilgrims, in which 3 of the officers lost their lives.